and effective tool accomplishing their purposes among Protestants. Now surely the members of Freemasonry themselves must be deceived, because if they saw it, they wouldn't do it, right? So actually, the order is being used, and they themselves are deceived. And only within the order, higher up, are those chosen ones who know, and they are controlled by the Jesuits for Rome. Very clever. Very clever. To make Protestantism do what you cannot do openly because you have been fingered by Protestantism as the Antichrist. So this is very interesting. This is a Templar fortress and a church on the island Mallorca, Spain. And there again you have the double-headed eagle, and you can go to virtually any church on that island and you will find the double-headed eagle over the altars of these churches. As I've said, Adam Weishaupt was the father of Jacobinism, and he's the one who is also the founder of the Illuminati. From the Jesuit college at Ingolstadt, it is said to have issued the sect known as the Illuminati of Bavaria, founded by Adam Weishaupt. Its nominal founder, however, seems to have played a subordinate, though conspicuous role in the organization of the sect. You see, again, they use a front and a front and a front.
Anyways, these people are nuts. That's the point.
Yeah, they don't think like we do. They live in a different world.
And they believe there's power in killing.
Yes.
That's why Lenin was saying they were kill people. Like, kill who? Kill what? Just kill more. Just kill more blood. Those are actual quotes. Give me more blood.
And that's exactly what Aleister Crowley's book says that is housed in the UT campus.
Just give me more death.
Just more death, more death.
Most Masons are good. Most Masons are like FBI or anybody else. There's compartments in the pyramid, or rings, concentric rings, like the ninth circle of hell. As you go deeper, you learn more. And most Masons, the founders of Texas, founder of this country, they were not bad people. That's how they control people, is saying, oh, we're good works, we do good works. They ask them in paperwork, what would you do in this situation? And when you give a moral answer, oh, you're who we need for leadership, and they kind of stick you as a porch Mason. So when we say Masons, it's not even proper. It's groups above that. And people say, well, which group is it? Is it the order of this, or is it the Illuminati, or is it at the top? All these pyramids, like Russian dolls, fit inside each other. And at the tip, it's only a few hundred people, and they sit, each one of them, over hundreds of organizations, compartmentalized, giving all the orders. Secret societies is just the ancient term for intelligence agencies.
Yes.
Okay, for commerce and information. So the same technologies of secret societies and how humans operate and how to manipulate populations and how to twist words. This is literally the secret knowledge, or the secret university of how to control people. But it goes back to all of this mysticism because it's so ancient, and so those trappings are all intertwined with it. Plus the elite likes to have satanic orgies. So it's extra fun on top of it. You see,
that's right.
But I mean, that's why it's all there. But it has real science as really the original sociologist and psychologist and military planners and architecture. You didn't just go teach that even at the mainline university. Explain what a double cross means.
The double cross was a Templar sign,
yeah.
And it's pretty self-explanatory. The double cross.
But in magic, intersecting lines have power, and multiple crosses has even more power.
Right.
So see, the Christian cross isn't even really, we call it Christian symbol. So, the last thing, like Bill Hicks used to say, Jesus wants to see is a cross. So Christian symbol is actually a sun god symbol, or a swastika. You see, because all the old sun symbols are either a wheel or two lines. The original cross is a sun symbol.
If you look into ABC, CBS, NBC, ABC is the Trinity, CBS is the Eye, and NBC is the Phoenix, or the peacock, which is Juno, the Roman goddess.
And then if you expand on that, there's all these other lesser gods and symbols. But when you go to Europe, but it's also in Washington, D.C., anywhere you see a goddess being drawn by chariots with different gods in front of her, maybe cherubs, maybe mermen, every time you see that, you will then, she will always be looking down on war memorials for hundreds of thousands of dead. That's a sacrifice.
Yes.
No matter where you are in Paris, no matter where you are in London, no matter on the side of the road, you can be driving, and you'll see a goddess, being drawn on a chariot. She may have other goddess in front of her, and you see it, and then you can pull off the road and drive up, and there's going to be war memorials as sacrifices all in front of her. And they have the same thing. They have the law enforcement memorial over at the Capitol, giant black pentagram. Now, see, most of the stuff has the white magic connotation, not behind the Capitol. That is a big black pentagram facing south, at the bottom, showing that it is facing downward. Plus, it has the two obelisks, the two towers. Explain that to them. That is hardcore, man. That is a super, and they believe it's like they believe architecture brings in the other dimension and like resonates power.
Yes.
That they get power by more of these. And they also believe there's power points on the earth, like London and Paris and Tokyo, places like that. Austin's one of those points, San Francisco, Northern California, Bohemian Grove. Mm-hmm. But I mean, tell them I'm being the police memorial out there. It's a police memorial. It's a big black pentagram. Tell them about that.
I haven't.
Yeah, go look at it. Yeah. See, there's so many of these you can't even keep track of them.
Our nation's capital is called Washington District of Columbia. Why Columbia? Well, that's why.
Yes. And if you look closely at her face, the goddess on our capital, it is Babylonian. It is. You can put a picture of Enlil, who is the ancient Babylonian god, next to Columbia, and you'll see that it is a Babylonian goddess that we have.
Yeah, if you look, it's an Asiatic, Central Asian face.
What does all that mean? I mean, bring it all together.
Which means they mean business and they're running things and they enjoy killing people and they like blood.
Mm-hmm. And they're ritual magicians. They're ritual.
Which is also the illusion. They believe they also get power, like the lesser magic, out of throwing it in your face, having it hidden in plain view. That's their whole language.
So it's every corporate logo. It's not just some. When you start to look into it,
well, the big ones, the Fortune 500.
The big ones, yeah.
And then all the a lot of the small ones try to imitate it because they just know that's the power does that. The power shows a pyramid.
Well, Alex, you mentioned the Luciferians and then the Satanists. The Satanists have been doing blood sacrifice for as long as they've been in business.
But the Luciferians really believe in it and aren't doing it for themselves. They believe, this is the great work. They're at the top, walking around in white robes going, they must kill billions. But then the Satanists are their minions and servants, kind of like the orgs, or the orcs, and they just enjoy it. And they're just out partying and enjoying themselves as enforcers. But my children, have fun. It's kind of like, there's the big hordes being released.
But isn't the slaughter...
Does that make sense? Is that basically?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Isn't the slaughter still a sacrifice? I mean, a ritual sacrifice, whether it's a war or whatever. You talk about
ritual sacrifice.
And Bush keeps saying the war is a great sacrifice.
Yeah.
These sacrifice, this sacrifice.
Exactly.
The Kabbalah is a collection of Jewish magical texts which were given to mankind via psychic communion with a fallen angel called Raziel. Raziel is one of a pantheon of so-called fallen angels who serve the light-bringer Lucifer. The Kabbalah describes the many angels and demons who inhabit the spiritual realm. The Kabbalah gives Kabbalists a roadmap called the Tree of Life, which explains how to invoke and communicate with these powerful spirits. The magical information in the Kabbalah originates from Babylon and ancient Egypt at the time of the pharaohs, but did not reach Europe in printed form until the 11th and 12th centuries. The sacred books of the Kabbalah are just a few thousand words long, but they contain complex descriptions of a spherical Earth, parallel universes, and the atomic nature of matter, ideas which have become common doctrine amongst modern physicists and astronomers. How could such complex information be contained in a group of ancient texts barely larger than an average magazine? The answer is that the Kabbalah is written in code. Codes are used to conceal multi-layered complex information which would later be studied by medieval alchemists. Sir Isaac Newton and many leading scientists studied the rich occult sciences within the Kabbalah. There was a time when mysticism, religion, alchemy, astronomy, and astrology were studied as one Kabbalistically based tradition. Jewish physicist Albert Einstein conveyed pages and pages of complex calculations in a simple 5-symbol code. E equals mc squared. Modern-day quantum physics, chaos theory, and the notion of parallel universes can all be traced back to the original texts of the ancient Kabbalah. The collection of texts called the Kabbalah were eventually transcribed by Rabbi Isaac the Blind in Provence in the south of France during the 12th century. For the first time in its 6,000-year history, the ancient magical techniques of invoking fallen demonic angels and killing someone using the evil eye were put down on paper. The Kabbalistic writings of Isaac the Blind fell into the hands of a group of 9 French noblemen. These noblemen became known as the Knights Templar. The word Cabal, meaning a group who conspire together, comes from the word Kabbalah. One such cabal, who were to later inspire a whole armada of black magic cults and Freemasonry, were the so-called Knights Templar. They laughingly called themselves the Poor Knights of Christ, but these men were far from poor. They deliberately styled themselves as monks so that they could go about their Luciferian Kabbalistic studies and conduct business without being taxed, nor arouse suspicion from the Vatican. The Kabbalistic higher secrets of ritual sodomy, the evil eye, chanting incantations, necromancy, blood sacrifice, and invoking the fallen angels in service to Lucifer fascinated the French Knights Templar. They realized that the Kabbalah originated in Palestine, and once they had realized that the Kabbalah was the key to untold spiritual magical power, they cunningly planned a bloody crusade to Palestine in order to search for more Kabbalistic and magical artifacts. They eventually discovered and looted the Temple of Solomon. Solomon was a biblical magician king who is accredited with inspiring large parts of the corpus of works we now know as the Kabbalah. The Knights Templar arrived in Palestine with one main goal: to stop the Muslims from gaining any knowledge about the Kabbalah. Historical Islamic oral accounts from the 12th century testify to a sickening crusade of plunder, torture, murder, and sexual depravity. The Knights Templar, once they had discovered the magical teachings of the Kabbalah, were dedicated utterly to destroying its origins so that they might hold its secrets exclusively. Archaeologists have found ample evidence of tunnels constructed by the Templars in Jerusalem. They are widely believed to have found and brought back to Europe the fabled Holy Grail. The so-called Holy Grail is actually a set of higher magical teachings. It is not an object, but a piece of information. After 200 years of Kabbalistic magic and bloodthirsty crusades, wantonly murdering children, women, and engaging in ritualized sodomy, the French Knights Templar were rounded up, tortured, and executed. Many confessions told of the Knights Templar monks ritually sodomizing each other, invoking evil spirits, and implanting these spirits into animals such as cats. Various black magic artifacts were confiscated